Here we have the Heckler & Koch SL8-1 to XM8 conversion by Tommy Built Tactical. Just want to show you how to disassemble, field strip, and reassemble the weapon. Like any weapon, the first thing you want to do is remove the magazine, like so, and pull back on the action to ensure it's clear. We have a clear weapon, so we can proceed. Set the XM8 down. I'll show you how to take apart the magazine. To disassemble an XM8 or G36 magazine, you want to push on the body of the magazine where you see the little teeth in the floor plate that engages the body. So you push firmly here, slide the follower rearward, set that down, or excuse me, the floor plate. Gently remove the spring, and then let the follower fall out of the body. And we'll set this aside so it doesn't get in the way for the rest of the disassembly. Okay, next step. Go ahead and handle the weapon again. Push the front takedown pin out from the opposite side that you see my thumb. Then using your hand, pull that pin out, the takedown pin. Set that down. And then pushing forward on the handguard, remove it from the receiver. We'll set that aside. The next pin to take down is the forward of the fire control group. Again, you push it from the opposite side of the weapon and then pull it out with your hand. We'll set that down. With all small parts, you want to keep it down in an orderly fashion so you don't lose them. To remove the magazine well, we need to push the magazine release, and then you can just kind of turn it downwards and pull it away from the weapon and set it aside. Next step is to remove the stock and fire control group housing. To do that, we need to remove this threaded in pin here. There we go. What's nice is you do not need any tools to do this. You can just use your hands for this level of disassembly. Set that down. We'll pull the pin out. Set that aside. Make sure the weapon's tilted forward so you don't have the bolt carrier jump out and attack the table. So, wiggle the stock assembly out. We'll set that aside. And then we will gently rotate this backwards to get the stock, or excuse me, the fire control group out of the weapon. So we have this. This is the bolt carrier. This is the bolt. To disassemble the bolt carrier group, we're going to go ahead and start by removing the gas piston from this weapon. First, you have to take out the op rod spring assembly, like so. That just slides out. Then we have the gas piston that just pulls out. The front end of this weapon, the barrel assembly, is from a G36K. It's 12.5 inches, so yes, this is an SBR. To remove the flash hider, thread it counterclockwise. Not everyone does this, but I prefer to inspect the crown and also clean the threads and apply just a little amount of oil to the threads. Set that aside. So the weapon's field stripped at this point. You can inspect the receiver and also inspect the barrel at this point. We're going to set this aside, and I will show you how to use the gas piston to disassemble the bolt carrier group. So we have the bolt carrier group. We use the head of the piston to push out a pin in the rear on this side. That comes out. Let it fall down here. Set it aside. Next, we can pull out the firing pin. It just pulls out rearward. Set that aside. At this point, we can pull out the cam pin, which retains the bolt. Set that down, and now the bolt comes out of the bolt carrier. Reassembly is the same, just in reverse, and you can go about it a few different ways. I'm going to go about it the way that works for me, and sometimes I switch it up a little bit. So we have the bolt carrier. We insert the bolt with the extractor to the right. I want to make sure to see the hole in the bolt that meets the cam area of the bolt carrier. Put in the cam pin. Now we can insert the firing pin from the rear, forwards. And now we can insert the firing pin retaining pin. That locks into place, and we have the bolt. We shall start with putting the gas piston back into the gas block. Simply push it forward like so. This is where the main action happens, at least from a gas perspective. Reinstall the op rod assembly, like so. That's good. We're going to thread on the flash hider. Have to push down a little bit because there is a spring in there. There we go. Just get it taut, and then you can stop. There we go. So with this weapon, a lot of semi-automatic weapons that are gas piston operated, you shoot the bullet out, the excess gas comes up into the gas block, some is vented here, the rest pushes the piston back half an inch or so, and that punches this op rod, and that op rod knocks back the carrier. The carrier goes rearward, and then it comes forward through the recoil spring, and then it strips a new round out of the magazine into the chamber. That's the basic operation of the weapon. We're going to go ahead and reinstall the front handguard. Simply slides on like so. We want to use the takedown pin we so eloquently set down. Back in, and you push it. It snaps back into place. Next, we want to reinstall the magazine well. Little indexing point here, and then you just slide it up. There you go. Next, we shall reinsert the bolt carrier group. Make sure the bolt is forward for this, otherwise it'll get hung up. So tilt it forward, you let gravity be your friend. Insert it from the rear and let go. It snaps back into place. Next step is to reinsert the stock and fire control group housing. To do this, for this type of weapon, it's easier to remove this first. We'll set the assembly down, and then the area with the black ring on it, you want to go inside the receiver. So we'll go ahead and fit it where it goes into the bolt carrier. Now that's in place. This can be a little tricky. Go ahead and slide that in, and we want to make sure to get the rear of the recoil spring assembly into the back plate. That looked like that went pretty well. So I'm going to set this down, get more leverage, and I'm going to insert the rear takedown pin from the ejection side of the weapon. I have to get it just right for this, so. This just takes a moment. There we go. We're going to finish it off with the threaded end to this side near the serial number plate. It just threads on. You want to get it tight, but not too tight. That way it's easier to take down when you have to. So that's on there fairly tight. Don't forget to finish it up with the final takedown pin. We're going to go ahead and insert that forward of the fire control group, and then we're going to push it in home. Or we're going to try to. There we go, so we get a little more leverage. So now we're going to demonstrate a semi-automatic function and do a function check. Pull the bolt back. It's unsafe. Weapon does not. Drop the hammer on safe as designed. Put it on fire. Drops the hammer. Pull back while keeping the trigger pressed. Release. Reset the trigger. And fire again. And we'll do a final reciprocation of the action. Do it a few more times. So, we function checked the weapon and it worked great. Now we're going to reassemble the magazine. To do so, grab the body, insert the follower skinny end up, like so. Let that drop home. The magazine spring, you can put it in either way, doesn't matter. Drop that in. Keep it captive with your hand. Then we're going to take the floor plate from the rear, move it forwards, and that will snap into place. It's a magazine, very simple. Reinsert the magazine, just for fun. I'll show you how the bolt hold open works. See how it the magazine kept the bolt home. Take the mag out. XM8 has an extended bolt release. Release the bolt like so. And that's how she's done. If you have any questions, feel free to blow up the comments. Thank you and goodbye.